Palpable grief in Moore, Oklahoma, as the community remembers 24 victims killed in a tornado, including 7 children who died at the Plaza Towers Elementary School. Joining me now is Mikki Dixon Davis, who lost her 8-year-old son, Kyle, and with her is Kyle's uncle and her brother, Terrell Dixon. Welcome to you both. Mikki, I can only start to try and imagine the horror. I've got 3 sons, one not far from Kyle's age, and I just can't imagine what it would be like to lose him in such awful circumstances. How are you bearing up with this?
With lots of prayer and support. It's been one of the hardest few days of my life. Leaving him on Monday, just telling him goodbye as I'm going to work and he's headed to school, and thinking, okay, I'll see you in a little while, and then I don't. It's been horrible. I just can't. It's just hard to express in words.
You had 2 children at the school, Kyle and your daughter Kaylee, who's 11. She was okay.
Yes, sir.
She was hiding in the girls' restroom, and she's okay. But when you heard about the tornado striking and realized how powerful it was, where were you and how quickly could you get to the school?
Well, I tried to leave my work, and I was probably about 20 minutes away, and the sirens went off at my work, and I was unable to leave. So once the sirens went back off, I was able to leave, and I headed that way. And at this point, I was hearing it was headed towards Moore, but I didn't know quite where. So I ended up at my grandfather's house because it was closest to where I was at, and we got unlooked. And at that time, all they was talking about was Briarwood, that it had hit Briarwood, and nothing was actually even being said about Plaza. And I didn't even actually know until my mom and my fiance got there and realized that Plaza had actually been hit, and and it took me probably at least an hour to even get from where I was to get to Moore, and then I ended up having to walk 2 miles to the school to find out. And the closer that I got, the harder it was, because you were seeing all kinds of houses that were demolished or not even standing. And as once I got to the school, that I just lost it. And at this point, as I'm walking, I had gotten a text that my daughter had been pulled out and that she was okay, but my son still hadn't been accounted for. And I honestly didn't realize or find out until the next day, about 8:30 in the morning, that it was confirmed that they had him and that he didn't survive.
Just an awful, awful moment. Terrell, let me ask you about your nephew, Kyle. What kind of boy was he?
He was an outstanding child. You know, the kind of child that every mother and father wants their child to grow up to be. I mean, I prayed to God that my 2 boys grow up to be just like him. He was an A-B student. He was an incredible speller. He was an awesome defender on his soccer team. He was never a troublemaker. He always had a smile on his face. Every time you'd see him, he'd always want to crack a joke, or just put a smile on your face. It didn't matter what you were going through. You know, he was always there, comforting whoever. Every kid always loved him. He never had enemies. He never had no one that didn't like him or thought he was weird or anything like that. Everybody loved him, and he was just, an awesome nephew. And I'm so proud to be his uncle and to have those years that I've had with him.
He sounds a remarkable young man. Mikki, let me ask you about one of the issues that's come out of this, which I think any parent would have a strong view about now, which is the fact that the Plaza Towers, as many schools in that area seem to have had the same problem, just didn't have any real secure area for these kids to go and potentially be safe. How do you feel about that, and what do you think should happen?
I was told that the kids in the 3rd and 2nd grade building did exactly what they had been trained to do, and I know the schools did what that's told them that they did everything that they were supposed to do. They're supposed to get in the hall, sit Indian style, sit towards with their head down, with their hands over their head, and that's what my son did. And he's not here today. And I want, in Oklahoma, I think it should be that every school should have storm cellars underground. We should not have to sit here and go through rubble, for hours looking for children. We shouldn't have to wait hours knowing if our kid's alive or if where they're here, whoever they are, where they're at. It should be, that way we can get there, know exactly where they're at, and pull them out, and they'll be safe. I mean, I was even being told at work before I even left. A lot of the girls at my work were saying, oh, the kids, they're safer at school. They're safer at school. Well, you know what? I don't believe that anymore. Something has to be done.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think this has to be a trigger for better secure areas for all children in all schools in the whole of Tornado Valley, because this will keep happening and you can't go through what you've had to go through as a family. Mikki, it's so sad to talk to you under such circumstances, but he was a remarkable young man, your son. Take great pride in the young life that he had, and thank you so much to you and Terrell for coming on and talking about him.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
The first funeral was held today for 9-year-old Antonio Candelaria, another of the 24 victims killed in the tornado in Oklahoma. Churches are planning special services and offering support for families and survivors who lost everything. Joining me now is Pastor D.A. Bennett of St. Andrew's United Methodist Church. Pastor Bennett, thank you so much for joining me. I know that a number of the people that come to your church have suffered devastation, but none more than the Futrell family. And that is because Megan Futrell, who was 29, and her infant son, Case, were both killed as they hid in a freezer inside a 7-Eleven, leaving behind Megan's husband, Cody, and their other son, Canaan. How are they doing?
The husband and the son are really surrounded and insulated by a number of friends and family members, lifetime friends, and they've done a great job of caring for them and helping them walk through the process, making the decisions they've had to make. So they're really surrounded with a good network of people.
How do you go about consoling people in this sort of situation?
Great question. One of the things that we certainly believe is in tragic situations like this, it is best for us to hold on to each other and to help each other get through. It's one step at a time. Never in a funeral can you just say, oh, well, this is what's going to happen now, this is what's going to happen now. Grief is a strange animal, and it creeps up on us in different ways at different times, and that's why it's helpful for people just to walk with us through that, and that's the invitation, that's the offer that friends and our church will make to Cody, is that we're going to be here for you. We'll be here for you in those times when you're not sure that you can keep walking, then we'll hold you up and we'll help you walk. We'll be present in those times. If you want to cry, we understand. We're going to cry with you. You just understand people can't be alone in this, and we all do help each other to get through.
Pastor Bennett, thank you very much indeed for joining me.
Thank you.
Coming up, the NFL star helping people recover after disaster strikes. I'll talk to Michael Vick about Oklahoma and rebuilding in the wake of Hurricane Sandy.